to be on the front burner. And I mean, if I was President Tinubu, I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy because let's not kid ourselves. That was a very difficult period for the government. And this is coming off the back of, say, opposition leaders did not even push it, or the opposition leaders did not even really, you know, go really hard on the president on that matter, right? It was mostly all the opposition the president saw on that issue was mostly from the US. And it was crazy. President was literally telling everybody who cares to listen, please, oh, I'm trying to save Nigerians. Oh, my wife is a pastor. Oh. You cannot believe I'm responsible for this. Oh, like I was preaching. So yeah, yeah. I'm sure he's a bit, relieved that. I'm sure it's tax you want to talk about. It's revenue. It's all these things. Of course, bring it on. We have plenty people that can. But you see that security matter. It was very, very dicey. It was very, 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 very dicey. It was very dicey because at the end of the day, when they are making arguments with respect to tax, revenue, and so on, a lot of, you can walk between the gray lines, try to make sense of some of the things, point to some of the good jobs that has been done. It's difficult to do that for security because you may end up being insensitive. You get what I mean? So it's a bit tricky, even for those who defend the government. It's a bit tricky because think about it. People are telling you that somebody is dying this place, somebody is dying here, somebody is dying here, they are kidnapping somebody here, and you are pointing to, I don't know, the fact that maybe the president, no, the fact that maybe the army killed one terrorist there, two terrorists there. It still doesn't, in the overall scale of things, it doesn't reduce the fact that people have lost their lives. You get what I mean? So it's a very tricky thing to be defending. And I mean, they did try their best to sort of provide some sort of defense for the president, but it's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky. It's a bit hard. But yeah, I'm sure, like I said, the president must be very relieved on this particular issue. And I mean, um, it's all good. It's all good. All is fair in love and war. But a new controversy has since, sprung up. And for some reason, I thought it was very, very, what's that word? Like it was done in passing. It's not something that it felt like some major thing had happened. It was just one guy standing up on the house floor saying that, oh, he has been perusing this gazetted tax law, and to his own surprise, what a part out is there. And the house of the speaker of the house sort of tried to downplay it, like, okay, thank you for your observation. He called it an observation. He was like, thank you for your observation. We'll look into it. Guys, can you guys, my network just um I'm not sure if anybody can hear. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Baba Jim. Yeah, so yeah. So this guy just came up the floor of the house and started raising very serious, allegations. And guys, I'm not gonna lie. Let me just be frontal here, right? Me, I did not know. I did not know that if like all these laws, as then take pass am, right? You cannot go and say, oh, you missed the spelling here. Let's go and put it back. You know, I don't know that if you go and do that, it's already treason, like, or maybe not treason, like you've sure gone against the law. It's more or less like fraud or something. Hopefully, maybe somebody who knows that aspect of the law can come later to explain. But I didn't know. I particularly didn't take it seriously, to be honest with you. When I first thought maybe it's just part of, I probably just trying to distill the information from what it is as a bill or an act that was signed by the government to another document. Right? This was until much later when I started hearing, the views from a lot of lawyers, a lot of, people who are, you know, who I sort of take value their opinions. That's when I started realizing that this may be even more serious than I had I had thought. Because if something has been passed by the national house, the house of what did they always call, it's not house of as oh, I don't know, by the legislature, right? It's a bit tricky because it is now law. That is right. It is now law, right? So somebody cannot just wake up one night and say, "Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, we didn't pass this thing when we were of the house, right? Let's just make the adjustments now. We can take to the National Assembly for it to be passed." Because I don't go, and who is usually responsible for developing this gazette? Who does it? Who is in control? I don't know. Maybe when I get home, I will try to check a bit some things online on the website or their website to see who is responsible for what, right? But I just found it interesting that in all of this, the presidency has actually not made any comments, or maybe I've missed it, but I haven't seen any, right? They haven't made any comments on this particular issue. It's a bit quiet. Um, Opposition the other day raised an alarm in a joint conference. The ADC also just a few minutes ago called for the suspension of the tax law. Somebody said, it's you will not be able to prosecute people under the gazetted law. Even more serious than I had thought. Because if something has been passed by the national house, the house of what did they always call, it's not house of as oh, I don't know, by the legislature, right? It's a bit tricky because it is now law. That is right. It is now law, right? So somebody cannot just wake up one night and say, "Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, we didn't pass this thing when we were of the house, right? Let's just make the adjustments now. We can take to the National Assembly for it to be passed." Because I don't go, and who is usually responsible for developing this gazette? Who does it? Who is in control? I don't know. Maybe when I get home, I will try to check a bit some things online on the website or their website to see who is responsible for what, right? But I just found it interesting that in all of this, the presidency has actually not made any comments, or maybe I've missed it, but I haven't seen any, right? They haven't made any comments on this particular issue. It's a bit quiet. Um, Opposition the other day raised an alarm in a joint conference. The ADC also just a few minutes ago called for the suspension of the tax law. Somebody said, you will not be able to prosecute people under the gazetted law if that is not what the what's it called, the house signed. So there's a lot of intricacies to this. And earlier, I tweet about Taiwo Idili because a lot of people have also pointed fingers at him that he was responsible for marketing and promoting this particular law, right? But for some reason, he hasn't really commented on the gazetted or this controversy. Now, I was thinking that is it possible, right, that he knows about this change? Is it possible? And is it possible that despite him being aware of these changes, he still decided to, not speak on it and, be quiet essentially, or play the ostrich or pretend as though, nothing was happening? Or is it also possible that, he's actually not aware of, the changes and, he's also innocent in this thing? He was just probably used. Those people who, you know, are responsible for this accusation, this alleged change that we're talking about. Is it possible that Tayo Dele was just a useful tool? He was the face of the tax law and already knew what they were going to do. They already knew some of the things they needed to put, you know, they didn't care. They just used him to push, like it's just like that case of, for those who watched Power, right? If you watched Power, you know how James St. Patrick was the face of the business. He was the face of, you know, their legal side. He promoted their legal side, their club. But we had somebody else in the background doing the dirty work. Is that what we are experiencing here? I don't know. I don't know. And these questions, I have more questions than answers on this particular issue. Because how is it possible? And by the way, has this been done before? Are we saying, because the way this thing was raised, are you saying that this is the first time in our history that the legislature will pass something and what is being gazetted will be different? Is this the first time? Because the fact that this is raising its head right now, I'm a bit skeptical. Honestly, guys, I'm a bit skeptical. I feel like, you know, is it possible that, just my mind playing in me, like, is it possible that we've actually seen this before? It doesn't have to be, a Tinubu government thing. I'm just saying, like, generally from the start of our democracy, right? So it's a bit dicey for me. And like I said, once I reach out now, I will open my laptop and will read and, basically get more information on this particular controversy. But a lot of people are already calling. I saw Kenneth Okonkwo's statement the other day saying that if this allegation was true, like if it is found to be true, the House should immediately start proceedings to impeach the president. Like, impeach. Yeah, see, guys, you see, I'm not saying that is not something that the House can pursue, but yesterday when the president went to present budget, it's the same House that is supposed to prosecute him that is singing mandate song. Guys, I'm sorry if I don't share in your optimism. Tinubu is going nowhere. Is it on this issue? Say this house, these same people will, impeach Tinubu. How? I can't even see it. I just like if it's actually true, if it's actually true that you know, right? I feel like it's something they will probably regularize behind the scene, and everybody will just move on. I've like what
Hello, DJ. Can you hear me clearly?
yes, brother. You are breaking though, but I'm not sure if it's from my own network. But go on.
Yes, I think on this topic, there must be a reasonable explanation, if at all there's been any changes. I doubt there is because somebody just came out and said there's been changes. I've not seen any details to say this is what we've passed, this is what we agreed to, and this is what has actually been signed. So
And but Falani, this is not just somebody. That is the issue here. It is not just one
but
random person like me coming online to
no,
shout that, oh, something. This is
no, the,
actually a
the,
legislator, an House of Rep member, brother.
it was a PDP guy that stood up. I mean, for me, this is what you call Gestapo tactics. This is gangsterism by the opposition, whereby you wait till the quarter two, the last hour, where the law is now meant to be implemented in January.